We shall start with the shins crossed. So, if you take the left shin, cross it right at the base of the calf. So not on the ankle, but the base of the calf. There's a pressure there on Indravasti, the marm and the shin. Now, arms out in front. Take the head down. So you want to feel like the weight is coming right down on the base of the calf, more or less kind of the center of the shin. Keeping the arms straight, palms relaxed, shoulders broad. Relax the head to the floor if you can. If you need a bit of prop, you can pop a brick under your forehead if necessary. Relax your jaw as you place the tongue lightly against the upper palate. And look to broaden the kidney bands, the back waist as you inhale. Release the weight of your rib cage onto your thighs, the weight of your hips onto your shins. So the pressure there on the shins, as I said, will stimulate Indravasti, relates to the small intestine and the stomach fire. So it helps with digestion and keeping the inner fire burning steadily on a cold morning in December. No, not quite. Nearly November. Take a few more breaths, keeping the arms firm, keeping the face passive, keeping the jaw relaxed. And exhaling fully. So just lifting your head and hips a little enough to change the cross. Other shin on top, right at the base of the calf. Sitting back. Stretch into the arms. Try to keep the elbows, forearms off the floor. As you press the palms down, lift the forearms up. Roll the flesh of the inner upper arm slightly outwards. And squeezing the outer upper arm inwards. Inhaling, broadening the back waist. Exhaling, relaxing your weight down onto the thighs, onto the shins. Morning. Couple more breaths. Long, slow exhalations. As you're exhaling this morning, you can picture, visualize a murky gray color, and that murky gray releasing any negative emotions, any negative thoughts or patterns that you wish to release and let go of as you're exhaling. And you're going to lift the hips on an inhale. Place the feet together, tops of the feet on the floor. Sit back on your heels and let your arms come by your sides. You can take the head again to a block if you have one, or just come with your head on the floor. Relax the weight of the head onto the floor of the block. Soften the shoulders forward. Exhale. Place the hands under the shoulders, push yourself up. So we're going to separate the knees wide. Stay on the top of the foot, so the big toes together still. Just letting the weight settle. So you want to feel like you're letting the root of the thigh release down. Top of the foot stretching back. So we'll come into the movement with the fists and the arms we did last time. So follow along as best you can. So I'll do it slowly at first. So we'll come forward with the fist, you bend at the wrist. So you can see my fists are turned knuckles towards each other. Some of you still have your knuckles down, so turn them in. Yeah, and then you're going to come out. So don't go behind you, just straight out. And you turn the back of the wrist forward again. And then bring the back of the wrist together. Turn the other way, first position. Knuckles face each other, out. Turn the back of the wrist forward and towards each other. Knuckles face each other. So you want to feel like there's a firmness in the forearm. It's going to work the same marma on the forearm that you just worked on the shin, Indravasti. And then back. Knuckles in. Open. Turn. When you turn, you want to feel like the upper arm is turning as well. Wrist, upper arm. Back. Boom. So we'll just do this a few times. Just breathe through the nose. You don't have to coordinate with the breath at the moment. Feel that firmness as you bend at the wrist. Now, next time you come in, pause. You're going to turn the knuckles upwards towards the ceiling and then pull in towards the waist again. Now, the second part is you go behind. So you pull back, out. The back of the wrist is turned forward. So you're keeping the fist the whole time. Turn the knuckles up, pull back. Behind, turn the back of the wrist forward, together. Turn the wrist up and back. So you can coordinate it with the breath if you like. So the inhale, come forward, exhale, pull in. There's an empty and inhale. Exhale. You slow it down if you want to move more with the breath. Now, so that's the second move. Now we've got to combine the two. So pause at the waist. So you're going to go forward, bend, out, turn the wrist, back of the wrist, pull in, then you're going behind. So behind, forward, turn the wrist, pull in. Forward, bend the wrist, pull out, back of the wrist, forward. Turn the wrist, pull in. Behind, inhale. Hold the breath as you turn the wrist, exhale as you pull in. Empty as you go forward. Inhale as you bend and open. Hold it. Together. Exhale as you pull in. Don't worry if you're not mapping the move with the breath. Inhale behind. Just keep breathing. Exhale, pull it. Forward. Inhale, open. Holding. Back of the wrist together. Exhale, pulling in. Couple more. Behind, inhale. Holding in the breath as you turn the wrist. Exhale as you pull in. Empty, you go forward. Inhale as you open. Holding. Back to the wrist together. Exhale as you pull in. One more behind. Holding. And Hands rest on the knees, arms straight, relax the armpits to the hip. Lengthen the base of the skull slightly up and just be aware of the feeling in the shoulder. From here we're going to curl the toes under. Samasuchi, so heels together, sitting on the heels, palms up at the top of your thighs. Rolling the shoulders up, back and down. Then palms down, rolling the shoulders up, forward and down. So both directions. Relax. Now, keep the palms on the thighs as you lift the shoulder up and drop. Up and drop. Keep your weight on your heels. Try not to lean forward. And relax. Palms together. Interlace the fingers. Roll on the wrist. Change direction. Keep the elbows close. Wrists are eye level. And release. So slowly lifting the knees. Keep your heels together. Keep the knees wide as you draw the heels downwards, the waist backwards, the arms front. Malasana. So working the heels together and down. Working the knees apart. Exhale, follow the navel towards the spine. Inhaling behind the navel, below the navel. Exhale, visualize that gray, murky color, releasing, letting go any negativity, negative emotions. And sit back and down with the exhale. Keep working the heels together and downwards as the knees stay apart. Exhaling fully. As you lift the head, bring the hands alongside the hips. So lifting your heels forward over your sit bones, so your knees go up high, knees together. And we're going to work the legs straight by lifting the hips, but you're going to come up and down. So we'll inhale to lift. Work the legs straight. Exhale, bend the knee again, sit back down. Inhale to lift. So as you lift the hip, push down into the knuckles of the toes. Press the shins back. Exhale, bend the knees forward. Sit back on the heels. Work yourself slowly. Inhale up. Press down through the knuckles, the toes. Exhale. Keeping the heels up. Work from the shin into the toe knuckle. In and out. One more. Next time you come up, stay up. Work the shins back. So you feel the back of the knee opens. And slowly bring the heels down, feet together. Bending your knees. Bring your hands in line with your feet and be on your fingertips. Now start to work your legs slowly straight. So press into the feet. As you press the bones of the legs back, head in. Bending forward from the back of the knee, sink the hip. The rib cage should be touching your thighs. And slowly press down into the feet as you press the legs back to straighten the leg. Weight of the hip, head forward. Bending the knee again, weight on the feet. Ribs on the thighs. And push down into the feet, straighten the legs slowly. Start to work the head in towards the shin. 3 more. Inhale, bending. Weight on the feet. Gaze forward. Exhale, push down through the legs. Head in, hips forward. Next time you straighten the legs, pause. Keep the hips coming forward, pressing the shins back. Outer ankles squeeze in. Then we'll bend the knees again. Now you're going to come up onto the fingertips, so you're going to start to lift your torso. But take your weight back into your heels first. Shins press into your heels as you start to lift the trunk up. As you start to lift the arms up. Utkatasana, so upper arms alongside the ears. Lift the pubic bone. Lift the sternum. Keep the knees bent. Look to lengthen, stretch from the elbow to the wrist. Take a little more weight to the center of the heels. A little lift from the pubic bone. Back waist should feel full. And as you inhale, stand up. Interlace your fingers. Press your palms up to the ceiling. Legs firm, so pressing thigh bones back, the sacrum forward. Outer thighs squeeze in. Inner thighs roll slightly back. Now keeping that right leg actively pressing down, right arm stretching up, slowly bend into the left waist, keeping the right side nice and lengthening. Exhale, taking the side ribs into the body. Navel to the spine. Inhale to come up. Now press down through that left leg, stretch up to the left wrist, keep the left side lengthening as you bend slightly into the right side. Use the exhale to draw those right side ribs into the body. Exhaling fully. Press the feet down to come up slowly. Inhale. Exhale, release the arms. Separating the feet, shoulder distance apart. Hands on the back of the hip. And we just circle the hip and the waist. 7, 8, 9, changing direction. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, pause here. Keeping the feet parallel shoulder distance, we're going to take the arms in front. Hands facing the floor. And they're level with your collarbones, not too high. Yeah. Then raising just the heels, so you're on the ball of the foot. You can feel it's kidney 1 point. Right on the ball of the foot, bubbling well. Take a breath in. As you start to bend your knees, stay on the ball of the foot, so don't lift the heels too high. Maybe you get about halfway. Push down from the shin to the big toe mound, bubbling well. Push up slowly. Slowly exhale, bend from the back of the knee. Keep the gaze on the horizon. Push down from the shin to the foot. Inhale to rise. Exhale, slowly. Bend from the back of the knee to go down. Push down to come up. Inhale. 2 more like that. Exhale down. Empty. Push down to come up. Slowly. Inhale. 1 more. Exhale. Empty. Push down to come up. Inhale. And exhale, release the arms. Step out just a little wider than shoulder distance. Feet turned out. Exhaling fully. Palms face forward as the arms go out. Inhale. Palms together as you look up. Hold the breath. From eye level, exhale. That grey, murky color as your exhale. Palms forward, inhale. Long, slow exhalation. Release, let go any negativity, any negative thoughts, any limiting thoughts. 1 more like that. Grey, murky color as you exhale. Then we bend the elbows and knees together as you hold the ball below the navel. Inhale. Stay here as you exhale. Relax the weight on the feet. Take equal weight between the inner heel and the outer heel. Relax and spread on the ball of the foot. Base of the skull, lengthen slightly up, tailbone slightly down. And slowly as you exhale, palms down, straighten the arm. To the eyes gently as you inhale. Keep your weight on the feet. Turn the wrist as you pause, exhale as you press out. Empty. Inhale as you go in. Pause, and exhale as you go down. Empty. To the eyes, inhale. Pausing. Exhale, press out. Empty. Inhale. Pausing. Exhale. Slowly arms out, straighten the legs. Inhale. Gray, murky color as you exhale, release, let go of any negativity, any anxiety. Again, inhale. Exhale that gray, murky color. Now, turn the big toes in just a tiny bit. Keep the distance. So we're going to squat down with the feet flat. So when you're squatting, the arms are going to come directly in line with the knees as they bend over the feet. So we'll take the arms in front. They're a little bit lower than the shoulder. Inhale. As you sink down, bend the knee. The hips will go back a little, the head will come forward a little. And press down into the legs to come up slowly. Inhale. Relax the arms, exhale. Raise the arms, inhale. Bend the knees, sink the hip, exhale. Empty. Push into the legs slowly, inhale. Gently lower the arms, exhale. Don't have the arms too high. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, squat down. Empty. Inhale, push down to rise. Exhale, release. 2 more. Arms first, inhale. Exhale. Plant it from the groin to the knee. Inhale, push down. Exhale, release. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, release. Palms forward. Reach out, inhale. Arms together, bend the elbow, holding the breath. Exhale that gray, murky color. Release, let go of any anxiety, negativity, limiting beliefs. 1 more. Exhale that gray, murky color. Hands on the hips. Step out wide with the legs, feet parallel now. Wide stance, 1 leg's distance, 1 of your legs. Press down into the outer corners of the feet. Draw up on the thighs, thighs firm, legs straight, inhale. Hinging from the hip as you lengthen the sternum forward. Exhale, take the hands either to the outside of the shin or if you can reach the ankle. Now, try not to pull with your hands, just hold. Bring the chin forward, so keep your gaze slightly forward. Lengthen the sternum forward, hip forward. Keep the thighs firm. Inhaling. Then slowly start to bend. Let the elbows soften out to the sides. As you take the hairline down towards the floor. Keep the thighs engaged. Bones of the legs pressing back. Weight of the hips coming forward. Long, slow exhalation. Release that gray, murky color. Release, let go of any anxiety, any uncertainty, any worry. Couple more breaths. Keep the legs working. Exhaling fully, hands on the hips. Press down through the legs strongly to come up slowly as you inhale. Keep the legs wide as you exhale. Now we're going to turn the left leg out. So come onto the heel of the left leg. Turn the left leg all the way up from the top of the thigh. Place the foot down. Slide the right heel back. Now the left hand comes behind. It's like you want to reach, right hand comes behind. You want to reach for that front hip. Now keep the pubic bone lifted. Keep the top of the thigh rolling out. Feet pressing down. Inhale. You're just going to start to lean over the leg, so you're shifting that left hip back towards the right as I come down onto the shin, the Trikonasana version. Now let yourself look towards the front foot. Keep the top of that left thigh rolling out, big toe pressing down, back heel pressing into the floor as you roll the top shoulder open away from your gaze. The sacrum draws in, and then you start to let your head turn. As you let your head turn, lengthen the base of the skull away from your tailbone. So tailbone towards the back heel, base of the skull towards the top of your mat. Try to draw that left hip into the body a little more and lean slightly back over the straight leg, front leg. Tail to the back heel, base of the skull away from the tail. So the more the spine and the head turn, the more you create length between the tail, bone and the base of the skull. Exhaling fully. Turn the gaze to look down. Press the feet into the floor to come up slowly. Inhale. Parallel the feet. Take the other hand behind. So left arm behind. Turn the right leg out. Slide the left heel back. Keep the pubic bone slightly lifted. Rolling the top of that left thigh out. The hand just rests on the thigh. So as you hinge forward from the hip, take that front hip back towards the back hip. Let the hand come down slowly. Don't make it about how far down you get. Just how much you can work from the hip and the spine. And as you look down towards the front foot, roll the top shoulder open, away from the gaze. Take the sacrum towards the back heel, tailbone towards the back heel. Lengthen the base of the skull away from the back. And let your head start to turn slowly. The head turns up. Keep looking to lengthen. Base of the skull away from the tailbone. So the more you turn, the more you lengthen. Keep working the legs. The groins roll away from each other. Couple more breaths. Exhaling fully, look towards the front foot. Press down through the legs strongly to come up. Inhale. Parallel the feet. Now we're going forward one more time. So hinging from the hip. Keep the thighs firm. And then you release the back of the hand onto the top of the foot. So the arms are passive now. Relax the head and shoulders. Keep the hips slightly forward over the arches. Exhale, relax the head, back of the neck. Fully exhale. As you lift the head, you're going to hold onto your ankles and turn your heels in, toes out. So keep the distance of the legs, just turn your feet out. Holding the ankles of the shin. Now it's a lunge, so as you exhale, bend into the left knee and just sink the hip down towards that left heel, but lift the chest and spine up. So it's not the head goes down, it's the hip goes down, the chest comes up. Look towards my straight leg. Push off that left foot to straighten, inhale. Bend into the right knee, track the knee over the center of the foot. You can use the elbow to press it slightly out. Push off the right foot to straighten the leg, inhale. Exhale, bend into the left knee, sink the hip, lift the sternum. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to the other side. Straight leg is straight, so work from the shin to the calf with the straight leg. Inhale, push up. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, push up. Exhale, sink down. One more set. Push up. Press down to the leg to push up. Exhale to the left. Sink the hip, lift the chest. Stay for another breath. Slowly push up, inhale. Exhale, sink to the right. Let the foot take the weight of the hip. Exhale fully. Now push down into that right foot. Inhale. Turn towards the top of your mat. Step back to downward dog. Arms and legs straight. Long, slow exhalations. Relax the jaw. Any tension in the face. From here we're going to come into the pigeon. So you're going to take your left knee towards your left hand. So out to the front side of your mat. Take the shin, foot forward of the hip. And then stretch that right leg back. So stay on the toes first so you can lift the knee and take the leg, thigh bone back a little further. Then place the top of the foot on the floor. Make sure that left knee is wide of the hip. It's not in line with it. It's wide of it. Then use your fingertips, push the floor away to lift the sternum. Press the back leg firmly into the floor. You'll feel a grip at the top of the buttock. It helps you to move the spine into the body as you take the chin up, the gaze up. Keep pushing the floor away through the fingertips. Keep pressing the leg down into the floor behind you. Try to draw the thoracic spine into the body. Space between the shoulder blades moves in and up. Long, slow exhalation. Keep the arms and the back leg firm as you inhale. And bring the head back to neutral. Now you can stay here, come out if you need to, but I'll give you a little extra. So if you bring the left hand in line with the navel, bend your back knee. So you can stay here. If you can reach the back foot, you can go towards the big toe. You can reach the foot, you start to bring it towards the buttock. And if you can turn on the wrist, and I will turn the wrist so that my fingers face forward as I bring my heel towards the outside of the hip. It's called Bakasana. It's a version of moving towards Vamadevasana. Don't force or pull too strongly, just see where it lets you come. Then slowly release the foot. Hands back to the floor as you step back to downward dog. Open the back to the knees, you lengthen the center of the heels down, lifting the sacrum up. Press into both hands equally. Exhaling fully. Now we take the right knee to where the right hand is. Make sure the knee's wide of the hip. Straighten that back leg behind you. On the fingertips, push the floor away so you lift the sternum, lift the gaze. Press that back leg strongly into the floor till you feel the upper buttock grips a little. And the spine starts to move in as the gaze and chin goes up. Arms and back leg firm as you inhale to lift the spine up. Exhale, let the hips sink a little. So the feeling of the spine sinking and the hip sinking and the spine lifting. Now you can bring the head into neutral. You can either stay here or you can bring the right hand in line with the navel. Bend the back knee. You can stay here. So you want to feel the weight right at the base of the thigh bone. If you can reach, you can hold a big toe. You can reach the foot, maybe you can bring it in a bit closer to you. And if it comes in close, then you can turn on the wrist so the fingers point towards the top of the foot. The heel starts to come to the outside of the hip. Fully exhale, releasing the leg, and Hands back to the floor, step back to downward dog. Stretch from the back of the knee down through the heels. Keep the sacrum lifting. Keep the arms straightening. Long, slow exhalations. And if you bring yourself into the shoulders over your wrist, feet hip distance, into a plank position. Stretch the heels back, push the floor away through the hands. Keep the thigh bones pressing up and sacrum slightly down. And you're just going to lower yourself to the floor. So try to move through chaturanga, so bend the elbows, beside the ribs, feel the whole hand on the floor, and then slowly bend on the floor. So keep the hands, should be pretty much in line with the nipple line. Let the forehead rest on the floor. Tops of the feet pressing into the floor, feet hip distance. As you press your feet down, start to lift your knees away from the floor and press your pubic bone into the floor. Feel the lower back lengthen. Keep pressing the pubic bone down as you start to peel your chest off the floor. Try not to use your hands. They're on the floor, but you're not really using them. Use the back to lift you up. Relax the shoulders down, elbows slightly in. Press the tops of the feet down. Press the pubic bone down. Try to lift from the back, not just from the lumbar, but also from the hip and the leg. And slowly come down. Let your arms rest by your sides, turn your head to one side. Relax the buttocks, the sacrum, across the lumbar. Turning the head the other way. And head back to neutral. So you're going to turn yourself over onto your back. Now, if you have a brick or rabbit, one of these bricks, not the foam ones, or not the blocks, but the bricks. If you don't have them, don't worry. So if you remember from last week, we did Setu Bandha, so you can do it on the brick if you have one. We'll just start without it. So feet parallel, fairly close to the pelvis. You can probably touch your heels maybe. Press the elbows, dig them into the floor, and lift your side chest up as you roll the shoulders under. Pressing down through the elbows, the upper arms, pressing down through the feet, slowly lifting the pelvis. Sacrum lifts, pubic bone is your highest point. Once you're up high, so you can roll the shoulders under again, go right onto the top of the shoulder. Lift the hip. Now, if you don't have a brick, you have to stay here. You got to keep the hip up. If you have a brick, you can take it on its highest point and place it closer to the tailbone than the lower back on the sacrum, and just let it rest there. If you don't have a brick, you got to work a little harder to keep your hips up. Either way, keep pressing the elbows, the upper arms down. Keep the side chest lifting. Keep the throat soft, so don't jam your chin into your throat. Keep the chin perpendicular to the floor. Relax your eyes. Keep your tongue in position. As you inhale, lengthen from the navel to the notch of your throat. As you exhale, Release the breath from the notch of the throat back below the navel. If you're working without the brick, you may want to come down and come back up if it's holding you for too long. With the brick, you can stay longer. Trace the breath from below the navel to the notch of the throat as you inhale. And back down from the notch of the throat below the navel as you exhale. Using that exhale to release, let go, that gray, murky color, any anxiety, worry, fear, negative emotions. We tend to carry them in our organs, the hearts, the lungs, the liver, the spleen, the kidneys, carry the emotions. Release, let go of any of those negative emotions or any over emotions, something you're feeling more than something else. So you find if you're working without the brick, it's quite strong on the legs. So you just, as I say, you come down, take a few breaths, and then maybe come back up again. The restorative element here comes when you hold it for up to 3 minute minimum. So we'll try to see if we can hold it for about another 30 seconds. Benefit, of course, is the blood goes straight to the brain from the heart. Into the glands above the heart, so the thymus gland above the heart, the thyroid gland in the neck, into the pineal glands, back of the skull, hypothalamus in the middle, and the pituitary, the master gland, in the forehead. Couple more breaths. So those that were working without the brick, you can start to lower yourself down slowly, upper back first, middle, lower back in that order. Those on the brick, lift the hips up so you're coming off the brick, release it to the side. And then coming down, upper back, middle back, lower back, sacrum. Just let the pelvis rest on the floor. You can let your palms rest on your belly. Allow the spine just to rest on the floor. And we're going to cross the legs, so crossing the legs in front of the groin, Sukhasana. Try to take the ankle under the opposite knee. And then crossing the arms above the head. Now, if this creates a big arch in your lower back, then maybe keep your hands back on the belly. So there's not a big arch in the lumbar, because you just did a back bend. So we want to relax, keep the waist relaxing towards the floor. And it depends if your shoulders can be tense or stiff, then maybe there's a big arch in your lumbar. Don't do that, just let your hands rest on your belly. So either hands on the belly, resting the lumbar to the floor, or arms above the head, resting the lumbar to the floor. Try to relax from the groins to the knees. And if your arms are above the head, from the armpit to the elbow. And we're going to change the legs, change the arms if they're above the head. Relaxing any tension in the face, the jaw, around the eyes, forehead, softening. Just keep the tongue lightly against the upper palate. Then we'll bring the palms together like a steeple above your chest. So now we'll counter the back bend a little more actively. So palms right above your chest, not your face, your chest. Take a breath in. As you exhale, start to lift the shoulders and head off the floor. Reaching between your knees with your palms. So stretch the arms forward, palms together. Press down now through the lumbar and the kidneys as you exhale. Couple more. Keep reaching as you press down. And then slowly inhale. Come back down. Let your hands rest on your belly. As you bring the feet to the sides of your mat, bring your knees together. So feet flat on the floor, the width of your mat. Let your knees come together. So you'll feel a broadness across the sacrum. Now, last one before we move towards resting. So bring your knees in, feet together. Bring your arms back up in a steeple. You want to keep your lumbar on the floor, with your feet together. Start to slowly straighten your legs up. And then reach your fingertips between the tops of the shins. So you haven't lifted your shoulders off the floor. Keep them on the ground. Keep the chin slightly in so you're not sticking your chin up in the air. You're on the back of the skull. Stretch the heels up, tops of the feet back towards you. Reach into the shins. Lumbar on the floor. Try to be firm with the arms, firm with the legs. 3 more breaths. Exhaling fully. As you bend your knees, interlace the fingers around the top of the shin, middle of the shin. Take a breath in. Finally, as you come up, slowly lift the head. The elbows bend. Press the shins in towards the thighs. Press the lower back into the floor. Try not to harden the shoulders. And releasing the head back to the floor. Release the feet to the floor. Straighten your legs out, preparing to rest. So if you can't keep your heels together for a moment, bring your hands either side of the navel in a downward facing triangle. The index fingers touch slightly below your navel, the thumbs apart above it. Elbows rest to the floor. And as you close your eyes, let your feet fall apart. Keep your tongue lightly touching against the upper palate. Take a couple of breaths into the belly. Fill the belly, the space between your hands as you inhale. Start to relax the weight of the body on the floor as you exhale. And inhale into the belly. Exhaling to your big toes. Inhale to the big toes. Exhale to the pelvic floor. Inhale to the pelvic floor. Exhale to your navel. into your navel. Exhale to the center of your chest.